Hello viewers, once again it's me, Ewaenruwa Nomaren, and this is another episode of Verse Breakdown. The verse that I want to break down for you viewers today is Proverbs chapter 16 verse 4, where King Solomon had stated, "The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil." What did King Solomon actually mean by this? Hasn't the Bible talked about the wicked as something that God really didn't care about all that much, really just wanted to destroy and not use? Well, not necessarily, because God created everything, as we know. Even the humanity that decided to seek out inventions, that is of course owned by God. If we read Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 29, Psalms chapter 99 verse 8, and chapter 106 and verses 29 and 30. We see how when God wants to punish his children, and of course he has done that from time to time, especially with the Israelites. If we read Amos chapter 3 verse 2, "Ye only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities." Many times, God doesn't just bring fire from heaven or just something so magical and fantastic. Many times, he uses wicked ones, people who he really wouldn't have done anything with. They would have just lived their lives, died, perished, etc. He uses them to show his children something, whether it's to punish them or it's to make them fear him, whatever reason that he has. For example, in Exodus chapter 9 verse 16, God told the Israelites that this Pharaoh they are looking at, I raised him up so that when I bring him down, you guys will fear me the more. I can declare my name throughout all the earth. And of course, indeed, the Israelites were not, of course, very expectant of this. They were very shocked. They really feared what God did. When an empire as great and established as the Egyptians just collapsed, really in front of people who couldn't have done anything about it. If not for those things, they would have been there for as many years as the empire would have stood, and they would have had no power to do anything. But then all of a sudden, God came and the empire fell. Another example is with Nebuchadnezzar, who God himself called my servant in Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 9, chapter 27 verse 6, and chapter 43 verse 10. Anytime God wanted to introduce the Nebuchadnezzar or talk about him as if you don't obey me, this guy is going to come after you, he was always considered my servant. And of course, the Nebuchadnezzar did take the Israelites into exile. And in these last days, the beast is being used by God. Them and the stuff that they bring out are considered God's army in Joel chapter 2. In Revelation chapter 17 and verses 16 and 17, God said that this beast, the 10 horns, is being used because they hate the whore, of course, hating spirituality. God is going to use that to get rid of them, agreeing with him. If you also read that in Daniel chapter 9 verse 27, it's the same idea, using them to get rid of spirituality before, of course, because they are wicked themselves, God goes to get rid of them so that his righteous ones can be the ones to live with him eternally, living with him in the sense of us living in earth. If we read Matthew chapter 5 verse 5, while God and the appointed people to live there will stay there. Oh, we now understand what Proverbs chapter 16 verse 4 means. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Most importantly, please try to subscribe, share this video, and click the notification bell to be notified when we make our next verse breakdowns. Thank you for listening.